And basically, how many of you remember your 4th grade field trip? Taking you back, aren't I? Well, I remember mine because it was to Spanish Hill. And Spanish Hill is glacial moraine, a little hilltop, right there in the middle of town. And I remember running to the top and being all winded, playing on this very flat top. It was very quiet up there. It was 230 feet straight up. And then we just all went off and ran and played. And there was this one kid, I always like to point this out, there's a young kid that was in our class. We used to all pick on. We were horrible kids. His name was Duncan Northrup. And Duncan, if I could ever find him, oh, how many apologies I owe that kid. That day, he went off underneath a tree and played by himself. We all went out, ran, played, did everything. Teacher calls us back by the end of this, and there he is with his arm around Duncan. And Duncan had a big old, fully grooved axe in his hand he had found underneath that tree that day. And that gives me chills, because that was Duncan's day, you know? That was Duncan's day, you know? And I'll never forget that field trip. That was just an amazing part of my childhood. I now run a museum. I now do all of this stuff. And we do the 4th grade field trips for the area. And it's just so exciting to give back with all of that I've experienced in my life. Really forgot about Spanish Hill for a long time. Bought a house below it back in the 90s. And my computer just happened to be looking out the window. So I'm typing along, internet's brand new, you know, you're out there, you're researching. And I'm looking out at the hill all the time. Big turkey vultures, always, you know, flying around the hill. And one day, for whatever reason, I come across this thing that says Carantuan. And it has to do with Spanish Hill. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've grown up here my whole life. I've never heard this word before. In fact, I thought it was Carantuan or something, you know, because you just read it and you're just like, I don't know what it's called. Well, come to find out, that changed my life that day. I basically ended up calling up the president of the Carantuan Greenway. I found the name out there on the web. So I call up Marty Borco, happened to be the state legislator too. Called him up and I said, Marty, can you tell me about Carantuan and Spanish Hill? He's like, oh, no way. If you ever do figure it out, let me know. There's so much controversy about that. We're out. We just use the name. I thought, isn't that weird? So then, I call up the local museum down in Athens, and I say, can you tell me about Carantuan and Spanish Hill? And they said, it's not Carantuan, and there's no giant skeletons. Click. And I'm like, well, now I'm really going to look into this. This sounds like fun. So before it was over, I went out, I did a whole radius around the area, got every report, every book, every lecture, everything over the last couple hundred, well, 150 years of people talking about Spanish Hill. Read it all. And then I'm really excited because living there all my life, I still didn't know the story that I had just found out. And I was so excited. And I went out and I got a projector and a laptop and I said, you know what, I'm going out there, I'm going on the road. I'm going to tell everybody about this story. I love it. I'm going to do it for free. I just want people to know about this story. And it wasn't until I got on the Pennsylvania archaeologist list one day and typed in, hey, I got to tell you all about it. And oh, brutal beating that I took. And it was, how ignorant can you be? Haven't you read Barry Kent's book on Susquehanna's Indians? And yada, yada, yada. So I go and I get his book. Because I figured, well, it must be I am ignorant. So I go and I get his book. And on page 301, he starts in about Spanish Hill. And what he says is, nothing's there. That it's all myth and legend. That Moorhead was there in 1916, never found a thing. And he names some other people along the way. And in fact, he names one of the co-founders of our museum, Ellsworth Cowles, and says that he is the one that started the whole myth in the first place. Unfortunately for him, though, I read all of those reports that he was referring to, and I knew exactly where he was wrong. And so it only made me go back and say what I had to say. So I actually wrote a paper, 49 pages, just hitting everything that Barry Kent had to say and showing where he screwed up, on and on and on. I was published in 2005 in the Pennsylvania Archaeologist about Spanish Hill and it being the place, most probably, of Quran torn. And so I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on where this is all coming